Big game this weekend for Arsenal. Big game. First question I've got about it, Igal. Should Ethan Nwaneri start this game?
Ethan Nwaneri should get game time, a lot more game time, but I don't think he's going to start. I would have started him versus Southampton. I would have started him versus Bournemouth. I would have given him more game time. But Mikel Arteta hasn't done that. He just played 80 minutes. I don't know if he's going to start him again in this game. I would give him the start. I would give him more game time. I would play him in these games while Odegaard is out. I think he's ready to play at the top level. He's shown that he is special. But I just think Mikel Arteta is going to ease him in, and maybe he's going to probably give him another 30 minutes off the back of the end of the game, or another 20, 30 minutes come at the end of the game, because he hasn't played him more than 9 minutes in the Premier League in one game specifically. He's given him bits and pieces, but I don't think he's going to start him from the beginning. But personally, I would.
What was that, Henry? Is it time now to unleash this young man? I know it was only Preston last night, but he was just he looked a level above that. Is it time to give him real minutes now? Is it time to say, do you know what? Here's a genuine challenger for Odegaard's position. Is it time to bring in a real creator, a baller, somebody that just looks special? He looks very special.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a similar situation to what we've got with Mikey Moore. And we started him the other day against Palace. Admittedly, he didn't live up to our expectations, but he's a hell of a talent. Nwaneri looks like, at the moment, one of Arsenal's most creative players. Newcastle are going to sit back. We know what their game plan is going to be. Counter with Gordon, with Isak. You're going to need to pick the lock. And if you play a similar midfield, which you did against Bournemouth, and a similar midfield, which you did against the Liverpool game, I think you'll create chances, but I think Nwaneri's just got something about it. Edge of the box. I mean, that finish, I know it's against Preston, but you've got to beat what's in front of you. It's a fantastic finish. I don't necessarily know if he'll start, but I think, last 5-7 minutes they keep bringing him on, he's not really going to have a huge impact. If the game's like 55th, 60th minute and it's still like 0-0, that's when you bring someone off the bench. With the thing that we've done with Mikey Moore is we've started him in the Europa League games. Obviously, you can't really do that in the Champions League because the opposition's the next level. So, I know we were speaking about it, but funny enough, Manchester City gave an 18-year-old a debut, and that was Foden, and he scored the winner against us. So, in big games, young players, that they can turn up. I don't see why not.
But with this...
If I'm being honest, I think you have to pick and choose when young players come into games. You have to make sure that, I think one thing that Arteta even said, and it has to be the right environment. I don't think playing against Newcastle in this midfield is the right environment.
Who plays there then? If it's not Nwaneri, who plays?
The reason I'm saying is just you have to protect for young players like this, like with Mikey Moore, like with Nwaneri, or any young players come through, even Kobbie Mainoo. I think the problem that he had last year was Man United just thrust him into the team, and as Man United tend to do with youngsters, it's once they're there, they're just going to play. Whereas with some teams, which Man City and other teams will do, be smarter, is you need to play them, pick and choose their games where they can have good performances, where they can have big impact. In this Newcastle game, where they're going to have a very physical midfield, let's be honest, you got Joe Linton in there, Bruno Gomes in there, and potentially Tonali in there. That's a physical midfield. That's one where he's not going to get a lot of space. Yeah, they might sit back, but he's not going to have the freedom that he had in the game against Preston or against a team that will be in the lower end of the Premier League. I don't think this is a game where you should start him. He should come off the bench and have an impact. And like you said, if the game's even, bring him on. Because I think that's where I think Arteta's probably been going wrong, is bringing a player on for 5 to 10 minutes. You think you're building their experience, but you're not. You're bringing them on at the end of games when games are done, can't really have much of an impact. And he's not really being asked to do anything because Arsenal have killed off the game by that time. He needs a good 20, 30 minutes in that game towards the end of it, where he can bring some impact, where he can feel the flow of the game, where it's still at its full speed, where Newcastle could still be potentially going for it, or Arsenal still going for it. So he has to play, but I don't think he should start. I generally think it would be too much for him in this Newcastle game. It's away from home as well, right, Agar?
Yeah.
Man.
It's got to get more than 5, 7
You know
minutes.
what? I can't lie. For me personally, as an Arsenal fan, like, listen, I think Nwaneri is a special talent, man. You can see he's a special talent, but I completely agree with George, bro. Like this midfield, especially Joe Linton and Bruno Gomes, they're not nice players. They're not. They're going to know he's a youngster. They're going to know he ain't used to the physicality of the Premier League. He ain't used to these kind of opponents. Bro, they're going to go in on him hard. 100%. They're going to be like, that's the guy that we're sticking it to in the midfield. That's the creativity in the midfield. If we get him out of the game, then that's it. We've done their creativity, and so they can't create much. Do you know what I mean? And this is the thing. You don't want to put him in against that type of midfield yet as a starter. I don't mind him coming on. 100%, he can come on. But if you want to put him as a starter, if we end up losing that game and he gets completely zoned out of the game because they're just physically dominant over him, like, bro, I think it's gonna do more damage than good. And in my personal opinion, I think Trossard is, listen, he's well versed. He's an experienced player, so he knows coming into this game. He knows how the physicality is gonna be. So I think Nwaneri just needs to. We've missed the kind of scope for where we should have played him, which was against the Southamptons and the Leicesters, but. Now we need to go. We're going to have a more favourable run coming up soon. That's where he should start. I think Ødegaard should. I know Ødegaard's going to be back, but Ødegaard should be rested for a few games. We can rest him up and we can utilise Nwaneri against these lesser opponents. Not trying to disrespect anybody, but compared to us, they are lesser opponents. We should try and use Nwaneri in this, man. But listen, I still think he's a special talent. I still think he's very good. But listen, you just have to pick your moments with him. You can't just throw him into that midfield. It's a very physical midfield, bro. Like, I've seen players go there that are experienced and even get out-muscled by Joelinton and Bruno Guimaraes because they know how to play the game. They know how to play the dirty game. Do you know what I mean? Where you don't get caught. They know how to do these little elbows and these little barges where they can push you off the ball.
Basically, the dark arts.
Yeah, 100%, bro. No, but they listen. They are. These guys are professionals at the dark arts, bro, because they know how to do it. I've seen a man like freaking Bruno Guimaraes chin, bro. I've seen him chin. Yeah, 100%. I've seen him chin. Yeah, I've seen him chin freaking Jorginho, bro, and not get nothing for it, bro. So he knows when to do it, bro. I see Joelinton push players, so we all know that they're well versed in this type of style of play. So I wouldn't play him in this game. I don't think this is the game for him, to be honest, in my opinion.
So, does he make Arsenal better, or is it just purely physicality is the reason you wouldn't start him, or does he improve your team? Is he better in that position than not?
Every time he comes off the bench, he drives us forward. Every time he came off the bench versus Southampton, versus Leicester, every time he came off the bench, he was like that spark. The last 10 minutes, he just brought the whole team to life. He was the player that everyone trusted with the ball. And I do think late in the game, he can make a big impact. But I just think starting from the minute one, it could be a problem for him right now.
Yeah. And the thing is...
Sorry, go on. And I'll come in a second.
No. And I was just
listening. I was just putting the kids to bed. Sorry.
I was just going to say, you know, the thing is, I do think he makes us better because of what Igal just said. Like, when you have a player who just looks like he's hungry and he's got a willingness to go forward, like even like Jordan and Henry, when we played against Tottenham and he came on, look what he done. First thing he's trying to do, what am I going to do? Get the ball forward. Who's making a run? Let me look for somebody who's making a run and try and get the ball forward. Even when he comes on against other teams, bro, against Leicester, bro, comes on, first thing he does, take a shot. Let me test the goalkeeper. So, like, you need a player with that kind of hunger. You can see he's just waiting, bro. As soon as he gets his chance, he's like, bro, I'm not going to let the manager down. I'm going to show him he needs to play me more and more. Do you know what I mean? So I think 100% he makes us better, and he's definitely an option, but he needs to start building up his experience right now for maybe one.
What if you don't win the game, though? Like,
sorry,
I know we're speaking about Nwaneri and how great he is, but if you don't win this game because you didn't beat Newcastle last year away, and City,
wait, we did.
No, you lost 1-0.
No, we didn't. We lost 1-0.
Yeah, you're right.
That was robbery, mate.
I think you beat them at home comfortably, but if you don't win this game,
George, don't do that, bro.
And City and Liverpool
Ball
win.
was out, mate.
Is it must? Is a question I was going to ask. Great question, Henry. Is it must win? Is it must win, Igal, this weekend?
Just like Mikel Arteta said, we don't think about the loss. So in our heads, we're only thinking about winning. No draws, no defeats.
Hypothetically, if you don't, if City and Liverpool both win, because you got to remember.
Well, wait, we play first. We play first. So 12:30 kickoff. We play first. and I'm hoping we go on to win that game, and one of them two drop points. Simple.
Do you know what?
If it's the other way around, though,
If it's the other way around, guys, it's early in the season, obviously, but
If
we
you
cannot
can't have
continue
City
we
already
can't drop
8
any more
points.
points. We can't drop any more
I'm
points.
completely in disagreement. I think if we drop points in this game, panic stations, bro, because
No, I agree.
you would start to stretch the lead a bit too far. And I've always been consistent. As long as we stay maybe 5 points, 6 points, something like that, yeah, behind them, I think that's manageable. Because 1 or 2 games they drop points, we can get back the points over them. But if we start dropping 8, 9 points, bro, that gets different.
But Henry, why is it every game? What if you drop points? Why can't we ever say what if City drop points?
It's the same for Liverpool or City. Like I'd ask you the same question to Roms. If they go out there and lose to Brighton, which would be catastrophic, but if they lose to Brighton and all of a sudden you're within a few points, but as you're playing first, City and Liverpool will be thinking this plays right into our hands. Because Newcastle's a tough place to go. I know they beat Chelsea, but and they lost to Chelsea at the same time. But
you know,
it's a physical game.
With this game, Henry, and I think Agal and Saad will agree, and the Arsenal fans, I feel this has that extra bit of edge to it because I still think that decision last season, whether you agree with it or not, with Joe Linton and Gabriel, it lives in both fan bases' head, Newcastle and Arsenal. And I think Arsenal want to get one up on them.
Do you think it was a foul or not?
Nah, not for me. I didn't think it was a foul.
It's just interesting. Sorry, go on.
Oh, so you didn't think Kivior's was a foul then?
No, I didn't. Ask most of my fan base. I was consistent with that guy. I thought it was too soft. I thought both of them were.
Ask my family. I'm coming around now.
No, not family. I said fan base. My fan base that I was arguing.
Oh, sorry, fan base. I was saying family. I was like, yeah.
I'm just saying it, I'm just saying it.
You could ask his family, bro. His family's all Arsenal fans.
Yeah, they're all Arsenal anyway. But I'm going to say it, Cal. This is why I think this game has extra more edge, and I think you lot will do enough because I think that last season you're still annoyed by that. You want to go to their patch and beat them at their patch.
I fully agree with you, and I agree with Saad in the sense that, guys, we are one loss away from every single Arsenal fan losing their head and a bunch of people saying we're not in the title race, we're in the top 4 race. That's the reality. And also, we're a couple wins and a Man City drop points away from everyone puffing their chest out again. At the end of until we go and win a league title, our majority of our fan base will not have their head screwed on straight. That's the reality. Because they will continuously have PTSD every time we drop points, and they'll continue to be gassed, like myself, every time we go on a good winning run. And I do think this is the beginning of a good run. We're starting to get players back fit. Hopefully, we're going to have Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba there. Hopefully, we're going to start to get Odegaard back for the Chelsea game. And hopefully we see a good performance away at Newcastle, go away for the international break, come back a little bit more fit, ready to go, rejuvenized, and then Chelsea away, we start to go on a run. We have Nottingham Forest after
Inter
that.
Milan as well in there.
Inter Milan. Honestly, I think out of all the games that we have coming up, I think we win every single one of them except for the Inter Milan game. I think we draw against Inter. So for the next 5 games,
if you gave me a draw right now,